Hey guys, I'm Oded Eshel. Today we're going to be breaking down how to make pizza on the Kamado Joe. I think probably one of the biggest things to do is just minimize mistakes. And I'm going to walk you through a lot of the ones that I've made. Probably the biggest one that I'm controlling for today is I wanted to reduce burning of the crust. I've had a lot of situations where there's so much heat coming up the bottom that it cooks the bottom of the crust before the toppings are finished cooking, and they end up with a burnt or a black crust. So the technique I'm going to show you today is an attempt to do that much better. We're using two pizza stones. If you don't have two, no issues. I would just put the cast iron pan directly on the grates and then the pizza stone on top of that. We'll show you what it looks like. And then the other troubleshooting tip that I've seen is the grill's just not getting hot enough. So if you're looking to get higher heat, number one, it's all about airflow. So make sure that you clean all the ash out of your charcoal basket, out of your firebox. Make sure all the ash is gone and that you're using high quality large lump charcoal. In the charcoal business, you get what you pay for, so it's definitely worth investing in a better brand of charcoal, and I think that'll get you there. So let's take a look at how we set up the grill for pizza. For grill setup, we've cleared out all the ash. We've loaded this up with lump charcoal. I'm going to get this lit up with our grill gun here. It's going to go pretty quick. Then we're going to set this up like so. We're going to put our accessory ring down low. Put our deflector plates on top of that. Now then I'm going to bring in the grates. I'm going to build on top of here. I'm trying to bring this as high up into the dome as we can. Now I happen to have two pizza stones here, so I'm going to try and protect the bottom as much as I can. And then I've got a cast iron pan I'm going to drop down here to act as a spacer. I used to use the iron spacers that John Setzler used to do. I think that's really nice. They just rusted out on me. And then I'm going to put my next pizza stone on top right here. And now we're going to sit pretty high up in the dome. We're going to try and get away from the super high heat that's going to be on the bottom. And I'm going to close this up. We're going to shoot for about 550, 600 degrees. So this is what we look like here. We got the deflector plates down low on the bottom. Then I got one pizza stone on the grates themselves. Then my cast iron pan sitting up normal. And then my pizza stone sitting on top of that. Everything's pretty stable. Our grill has stabilized. Now it's time to set up our pies. And we don't want to make a bunch of these in advance because the moisture from the tomato sauce is gonna make it really difficult for that pizza to get nice and crispy. So make them one at a time, only right before you're about to throw them in. This one's sitting on a bed of semola flour, which I find really helps with the launch. And that was one of the tips that I got from our previous video in the comments. If you've got any more, please share them. Love to learn from the community, and knowledge is meant to be shared. Next, our sauce is going to be San Marzano tomatoes that we're going to hand crush up. And you got to move really fast at this point because we don't want the dough getting too wet for too long. It's going to make it tougher to cook down. But that's going to be the base of our tomato sauce. These really great tomatoes that we get from straight from Italy. Next, we're going to hit this with some kosher salt. The mozzarella cheese. And this is the part where if you want to go with a really hot Kamado Joe oven, you just want to go really light on the tomatoes, really light on the cheese, maybe go fresh mozzarella, and that'll cook in just a couple minutes. I like more cheese, more toppings, a little bit of a thicker pie. So this is the way we like it here. Then for toppings, we love mushrooms and olives. Kind of spread that around. And then I don't think you can have a proper pizza in America, the greatest country in the world, without pepperoni on top of it. That's my favorite topping by far. I'm gonna throw them all over the place here. Just to show you our vent settings, we are closed up top, but with our latch all the way over to the right. And then down below, we are 2/3 open. We're holding steady at about 515, 525. We got our pizza onto the stone right here. We're gonna close this up, let this cook with a bunch of convection. Now that we have everything kind of blocked off, all the heat from down below, it's nicely blocked off. It's gonna cook through a lot of the heat that's sitting inside this dome. It's been heat soaked in there. We're gonna close this up, set up a timer, let you know exactly how long that takes. Now at the 5-minute mark, I like to come in and check, make sure that everything's cooking evenly, and make sure when you open this that you're gonna burp it. Leave it open about ½ an inch for a few seconds, just so we're not flooding the grill with oxygen. And then we just wanna see that it's cooking even. If one side was much more done than the other side, then I would bring the peel back out and kind of flip it around if you got any hot zones. But this looks like it's cooking really nice and even, so we're gonna throw it back in. We've hit the 14-minute mark on this pizza. It looks nice. Got some nice little burnt edges on the pepperoni, which I enjoy. We're gonna take our peel, slide it underneath. You could always use a spatula if you need to push back here and bring it down. Or you can just push it with your finger there. We're gonna get this off the heat. Okay, we ate the pizza. Let's break down how it went. I think in general, super tasty. The one thing that came up a little bit is my dough was a little bit too thick. I got usually I get a pre-rolled pizza dough from our local supermarket. It works great. It's nice and thin. This one I got a pizza ball. The roller wasn't working great, so it ended up being thicker than I'd hoped for. And that net result is it cooked all the way through. It didn't get as crispy as I wanted to. So one, I would make sure that you roll your dough out nice and thin. And then the other piece that I think went a little bit wrong is when I was crushing those tomatoes, too much of the tomato water, tomato juice came out on there, and it was too wet of a dough as we're trying to cook through that. So I think if I'm going to do it again just like that, I would take the tomatoes, crush them by hand into a colander, let all that juice drain out, and then come in with the larger tomato pieces as the basis of my sauce, or use like a marinara or a pizza sauce you're going to drop down there. But I think a little bit too much liquid in there kind of hurt the dough as we're trying to cook through it. Or you can always go much higher heat, go Neapolitan style, much less sauce, much less cheese. You can really crank up the heat. Don't use a cast iron pan if that's the situation, because they're only rated for about 650 degrees and your seasoning is going to all come off. But no issues there. Go higher, hotter, make a traditional Neapolitan pie. Those are awesome too, and this thing gets crazy hot. For me, we like the thicker American style pie with more cheese, more sauce, more everything. It's America, baby. Nothing wrong with that. But please, we learned so much from the barbecue community on the pizza. A lot of these tips came from the comments from our last video. So if you got great pizza tips on the Kamado Joe, drop them in the comments. Let us know how you do it. We're here to learn from each other. Thanks so much for watching, and hit subscribe if you like that.